What's up, freaks and geeks? It's Aedifex, and welcome to the OCD-Dex Project Challenge. This is something I've been working on putting together for a few months now, and with Let's Go coming out this November, and the next mainline games coming out at the end of next year, I'm really excited to get started. So what is the OCD-Dex Challenge? Well, the whole point of Pokemon is gotta catch them all, right? Yes, there's more than that to Pokemon, but ultimately the premise of all the mainline Pokemon games is to train your Pokemon, battle the gyms, beat the Elite Four, and complete the Pokedex. Some people just play the game, become champion, and call it the end. Some people don't necessarily catch everything, but will trade back and forth with friends or evolve one Pokemon all the way to get the Pokedex data, while others take it a step further with something called a living Pokedex. Instead of having just registered all the Pokemon, a living dex is a collection of every individual Pokemon species. So someone with a living dex wouldn't have just a Charizard, they would have a Charmander and a Charmeleon too. You get the idea. On top of that, there are some people that go even further and try to complete a shiny living dex. Any kind of living dex is an impressive achievement, and completing both a regular and shiny living dex would mean you've caught all the Pokemon, right? You would think, but just doing this leaves so many more Pokemon left uncaught. A lot of Pokemon have different forms. Some are different colors, some have different evolutions of the same name. There are even Pokemon that differ depending on if they're male or female. So then, just how many Pokemon are there? And can you really catch them all? That's the challenge of the OCD-Dex project, catching every possible obtainable Pokemon. Let's go over a couple of guidelines for the challenge itself, then we'll take a look at the different forms and get a definitive answer on how many Pokemon we've got to catch. First off, all Pokemon, minus events, and Vivillon's regional variants must have your original trainer name registered, so it's up to you to catch them all. Trades won't count. Event Pokemon are not required for the OCD-Dex, since once you've missed them, they're gone. There are a few exceptions to this though, as some Pokemon that you'll need for the OCD-Dex can only be obtained through events. Finally, and this is what truly makes this a challenge, catch all Pokemon in their native regions. The shiny living dex portion of the OCD-Dex, event Pokemon that are only obtainable through distribution like I mentioned earlier, and unknown, exclamation point, and question mark are the exceptions. Now here's where the OCD really comes into play. There's a Google Drive spreadsheet I'll link in the description below. It includes a checklist with all the Pokemon in the versions of the games I'll be playing, where to catch them, and how many you'll need to catch, as well as layouts for having a full OCD-Dex in your Pokemon bank. Bank will be the only way to store a full OCD-Dex collection, as it won't fit in a single game's box system. All the individual forms will be listed in the spreadsheet as well, but I'll quickly go over the different kinds of forms for those of you who don't want to or can't download it. Alternate forms are Pokemon within the same species that take on different forms for various reasons. We'll only be catching the alternate forms that do not change outside of battle or once put in a box, since we'll be storing the collection in bank. The Pokemon that change forms in battle or revert back once stored will be considered caught in the living dex portion, since they will ultimately change back to their original form once stored. Now there's one Pokemon with a multitude of alternate forms that we won't be catching, and that's Spinda. For those of you who don't know, Spinda's pattern is generated randomly each encounter, resulting in roughly 4 billion different combinations. With the exception of the Nidorans, gender variants didn't exist until Generation 4. But since then, certain Pokemon have different appearances depending on if they're male or female. There are currently 98 pairs of gender variants. Mega Evolutions weren't introduced until Generation 6. These are an additional temporary evolution for Pokemon in battle. These aren't necessary, since like the alternate forms, we aren't collecting specifically in-battle changes, but I decided I would include them in my collection. When working on the shiny living dex, there are some Pokemon that'll be impossible to get, since their shiny locks are only available as shiny through Japanese events. Cause let's face it, they get all the cool stuff. There are currently 25 Pokemon that are unobtainable as shinies in the US. To add to the intensity of this challenge, we won't just be going for a full shiny living dex and calling it done. If the goal is to catch them all alternate forms, gender variants, and mega evolutions, if you decide to collect them, should have their shiny counterparts as well. This will undoubtedly be the absolute hardest part of the challenge. This part can be considered optional, as it will basically be shiny hunting for doubles to truly have every possible Pokemon available. But isn't that the point of this insane quest? Now finally, let's find out. Just how many Pokemon do you need to catch them all? A living Pokedex will have 807 Pokemon now that Zero Aura has officially been announced. So that's our base number. There are 25 Pokemon that are unobtainable as shinies for the living shiny dex, so that makes the shiny dex total 782. There are 146 alternate forms in total, 98 pairs of gender variants, and 50 mega evolutions, making my current total 1,981. Now if you're doing the full OCD-Dex challenge and getting all the possible shinies as well, then let's add 128 for the possible art forms, 196 gender variants, and 49 mega evolutions. That brings our grand total to 2,354 Pokemon. That is a lot of Pokemon. But take in mind that even with all of these, it's still less than 1% of the possible combinations of Spindaforms. At least we aren't that crazy, right? So are you ready to take the OCD-Dex Challenge? It won't be easy, but fully completing it will make you the Pokemon master you always dreamed of being ever since you played that first game. Now, I'm not going to give the Pokemon community a crazy challenge and sit back and watch you all do it for me. I'll be taking the challenge myself. I'm going to be dumping all of my Pokemon in my copy of Moon and starting from scratch. I'm going to complete my OCD-Dex live. Everything that goes into my OCD-Dex on Pokemon Bank, other than my pre-existing event Pokemon, will have to be captured on screen to count towards the challenge. I'm going to stream and record the entirety of me completing the OCD-Dex Challenge on Twitch and YouTube. It's going to be a long journey, but I can honestly say I'm really excited about doing this, especially with the new games on the way. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I hope you all like the idea of the OCD-Dex. And even if you don't take the challenge yourself, I hope you'll take the time to watch me as I try to catch every single possible Pokemon out there. If you do take the challenge yourself, keep me updated with your progress. You can comment on my videos, talk to me on live streams, or use hashtag OCD-Dex Challenge on Instagram, Twitter, or any other social media with any pictures or posts about your progress. You can even send me links to any videos you make while trying to complete the challenge yourself. Good luck to everyone out there who tries to complete this challenge, and have fun on your new Pokemon adventure. Until next time, I'm Aedifex, and I'll see you in the next video.